Hi, welcome to Take 5, where we daily consider devotional thoughts from Oswald Chambers' book, My Utmost for His Highest. Today is September 3rd, and the title of today's devotional is Pouring Out the Water of Satisfaction. He would not drink it, but poured it out to the Lord. 2 Samuel 23 and verse 16. Appreciating the focus verse is helped if one is familiar with the life of King David. This is from a non-specified time in his reign. While in battle against the Philistines, David had a craving for the delicious taste of water from a certain well that was near Bethlehem, though getting there would have been a dangerous feat of moving through enemy troops. King David, however, was surrounded by very loyal soldiers, 30 in particular, and somehow 3 of them were able to sneak through the enemy's lines, get to that particular well, and draw water from it for their king. This they did out of love and devotion to him, but he refused to drink it. He refused to quench his parched throat with the delicious water due to his men not being able to share it with him. Instead, David poured it out as a sacrifice to God. He refused to lustfully enjoy the pleasure of that water only being enough for himself. Today's study deals with the temptation of selfishly satisfying one's wants when doing so would be harmful to or neglectful of those around you. Chambers begins, what has been like water from the well of Bethlehem to you recently? Love, friendship, or maybe some spiritual blessing? Have you taken whatever it may be, even at the risk of damaging your own soul, simply to satisfy yourself? Can you recall pleasures or benefits derived in a selfish manner? It wasn't pleasing to God, only pleasurable to yourself. This is the nature of sin, the satisfying of self in ways that bring no honor to God. Chambers continues, if you have, then you cannot pour it out to the Lord. You can never set apart for God something that you desire for yourself to achieve your own satisfaction. If you try to satisfy yourself with a blessing from God, it will corrupt you. You must sacrifice it, pouring it out to God, something that your common sense says is an absurd waste. David refused to allow himself the drink because it would be such a selfish act on his part. Chambers speaks of love, friendship, and spiritual blessings as areas perhaps needing to be poured out. Is one whom you love also one who loves God? Is that friendship based on each of you loving Jesus? If not, just as David did, it must be poured out. Sacrifice to God is something that would please you, but taking away from the glory of God. To be unequally yoked will harm your walk with God. Certain opportunities of life must be ignored or turned away from because of the dishonor they can cause your relationship with God. To have drunk the water brought him would have proven horribly selfish on David's part, though his soldiers would not have held it against him because they loved their commander that much. Are there pleasures you could have at the expense of others, yet refuse because you see the selfishness of it? O.C. asks, how can I pour out to the Lord natural love and spiritual blessings? There's only one way. I must make a determination in my mind to do so. As God told me, you are going to do what you want to do, so you must change what you want to do. Pour out desires that God shows you as acts of selfishness on your part. Create new desires that glorify God. O.C. states, there are certain things that other people could do that could never be received by someone who does not know God, because it is humanly impossible for them to repay them. Here's the idea. The Christian who goes to help his neighbor rebuild their home or take food to the sick, non-believers cannot receive this well because such love exceeds logic. Inviting a non-believer to church is a much greater blessing to them than they have any idea with which to deal, and they have no idea how to repay it. David's pouring out of the water to God was wasted on those who personally knew not Jehovah God, for it was an act of spiritual sacrifice that flew way over their head. Washing of feet, the breaking of bread with those around you, different actions done unto God will be lost on non-believers because the spiritual nature of these actions. Chambers finishes with, if you are always keeping blessings to yourself and never learning to pour out anything to the Lord, other people will never have their vision of God expanded through you. It will bless others as they see how you pass on tempting times that could have pulled you away from God. They will watch you and learn spiritual strength in real life situations. And now may God's grace and peace be ours as we seek to live our utmost for His highest. Thanks for being here today. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now.